back. I'm so glad that you're here today. I hope that you've been having a great week and have been enjoying some of the resources that we've shared with you so far about passion projects. We've covered a lot of ground so far and we have a lot more to go. So we are going to begin today to understand a little bit more about building your network. Your network is an important component for moving your passion project forward. And so I want to help you understand some of the hows and why you should begin to build your network and how it will be useful to you as you begin to launch your project. So super excited to bring this material to you, and I'm ready to get started. So networking is probably not very many people's favorite thing to do. I mean, there are certainly people who are really great networkers, but generally speaking, I know a lot of people who don't enjoy it and it has maybe a negative vibe around it. So today we're going to explore that a little bit and hopefully give you some tools to move forward in building your network. First, I want to start by saying we are talking about a project network, and maybe that will help clarify which way you should go. We've talked maybe about you having a personal network, your friends, your family, those closest to you are in your personal network, and maybe you have a professional network that is affiliated with your part-time or full-time employment. So we're looking at maybe a merging of both of those networks and then some new people that you haven't yet met. And those people, all of those people will be in a project network. So we're not, that's what we're kind of talking about here today. Talked a little bit about how networking has a negative vibe around it. And so in order to make this a little bit more comfortable, I think we need to think about maybe a shift in mindset around networking. Like I said, I think people feel like maybe they don't love it because it might feel like you're working someone over, and that's an uncomfortable feeling. And maybe you're worried about if you're talking to somebody you don't know, they may not love your project or your idea, or they may dismiss you, and that doesn't feel great. And so it is uncomfortable. Networking is hard, but it is a shift in the mindset may help a little bit, make it a little bit easier. I like to think about networking as you are bringing an opportunity to someone that they may not know about. They may have never considered it before. They may not know your specific idea. They may not, like in my case where we were talking about reinventing this resort, some people had never even heard of this place, or if they had, they hadn't kept up with all the things that had happened to it. And so I was bringing them an opportunity to consider something that they weren't familiar with. So that gave me a lot of energy around talking to people, because I was maybe being helpful to them and giving them something new to consider. I also like to think about it as, yes, I am asking ultimately for someone to do something, but I'm also willing to help somebody else. So it's an opportunity to share resources versus strictly a transaction, like I'm meeting you and now I want you to do something for me. So a shift in the mindset may make this uncomfortable idea about building a network a little bit easier to process and ultimately to move forward with. It is a necessary step if you are talking about doing a passion project that is outside of what you normally do. You need people. And like I said, you are bringing an idea to them, an opportunity to them that they haven't considered before. That's exciting. So you're actually helping them. So why do you need to build a network? You need a network to, as we said, to move your project forward. You need people. You need to learn from them. When you talk to people, they will share their perspective, maybe some experiences that they've had, people that they know, and there's a sense of humility to that. You will learn from somebody else, and that helps you grow as a person. So that's kind of exciting. Your network will help you shape your ideas and help you shape your plan. They are not the judge and jury. They don't get the final say, but they may present something to you that you've never considered before. And they will help, as we said, help you grow. So that is something that is definitely part of the why. And lastly, I think it's important for you to remember that you are helpful to them. You are helping them learn, helping them grow, and you are also willing to introduce them to your network. So maybe they're working on their own passion project, and so you can be a connector as well. So those are some of the quick reasons of why you need to build a network and why networking is important, an important step in a passion project. Like I said, no one is going to say it's easy unless you're one of those, the small portion of the population that actually really enjoys it. But most people that I know and people who have been in contact with me about starting a passion project, this is the number one hang up. Not asking for money, not developing their plan, not developing their vision. It is scary to get out there and start talking to people that you don't know outside of your comfort zone. So let's shift the mindset a little bit. Let's understand, why are we doing this? And commit to the idea that you need people to help you, and you will be helpful to somebody else for their passion project. And then from that point, it's just about, how do we get started? So that's what we're going to start next. How do we get started? Okay, so how? We figured out why, and now how. How to get started. So make a list of everyone you know. Just write them down. Write down your list of everyone you know who could even slightly help you with this project. If you're doing as we talked about in one of our last episodes, a community-based literacy program. So write down the people that you may know who are avid readers, maybe a teacher, maybe a principal at a school, anyone you know at all. So that's step one. And it's probably going to be a pretty long list, because they may not be your friends, but they just are people that you know. So then do a second pass at your list and say, I know of this person, or I slightly know this person, but my friend knows that person better. So, and maybe my friend will help me, connect me to that other person. So write down who may know your first pass at your network list better than you. And then you ask those people for help. Ask them to introduce you to the people that they know better than you. And if whoever's left, who's ever on your list, that's who you're going to target, you yourself. So in order to start targeting them, you need to develop a target email, a target LinkedIn request, and then a script for a phone call. So develop all three of those things and decide, person by person, what may be the best way to reach that person. You may need to reach them in multiple ways. They may ignore you. They may ignore your email. Your email may go to junk, whatever. You may need multiple ways of reaching them. So your script shouldn't necessarily be literally the exact same words, but you might want to have some brief introduction to who you are and what you're interested in. I would recommend not putting your ask right into your initial contact. You don't know these people. you don't know them well. If you do know them well, that's a different story. But we're talking about building your network. So these might be people that you don't know well. Just have a general introduction about a shared commonality. So in my case, where we were talking about building the resort, I had a LinkedIn request and an email that went something like, I am interested in reimagining a resort in a particular location, and I'm willing to grow my network. I'm hoping to grow my network with like-minded people who share my interest in resorts, real estate, whatever was the target, hospitality, particular sports. I would say what I'm interested in and what I'm trying to do, which was build my network. And thank you for considering connecting with me. I cannot tell you the number of people who connected with me. I'm talking hundreds by that simple script. I said it over and over again, and people reacted to it. I didn't ask anyone for anything. I just said, thank you for considering connecting or expanding your network by, answering my email. That's it. And it was very, very successful. I would also say that you should be developing one piece, maybe an infographic or a flyer or something, because if someone responds to your email, your phone call, your LinkedIn request and says, hey, that's really cool that you're doing your literacy program, you're reimagining a resort, you're coming out with a food product, that's really cool. Tell me more. What are you going to do? You need to have something to give to them, even just something very generic that doesn't get into the specifics or spill the beans into your great idea without building your relationship. So something that's almost a teaser. Have something to follow up with. If you get a response, then you could say, thank you for connecting with me. Thank you for your email. And I'd like to provide you a little bit more about the project that I'm considering, working on, dreaming about, whatever feels right to you. Send them that. We're going to talk about in next episodes about how to nurture your relationships and your network. And so we're going to talk about building on those next steps. But for now, just have those pieces ready to go so that when people start responding to you, you can send those out. I would also advise that if you're dreaming about a very large and substantial project, that would require maybe some investment, you should also start beginning to put together a very detailed pitch deck. If you're dreaming about a project that is not as complex as that, you still are going to need a pitch deck, but it might not be as complicated as one that involves looking for financial resources. I would say now's the time to start pulling those pieces together and understand how you want to begin communicating that message. So that's work in the background. Right now, when you're building your network, have your script, have your email, and have a LinkedIn request, and start working those contacts that you've identified and the contacts that maybe your friends can share with you. So we are going to finish up for today, and I gave you a lot to think about in terms of building your network and why you should and how to do it. Next week, we're going to begin talking about how to nurture your relationships. So we're going to really explore how to build on and follow up with any of the contacts that you get from these initial network connections. So that is going to be a lot of information too. Until next time, just remember, small steps, big dreams. We're all in this together, and we are so excited to learn about your passion projects. Have a great week, friends.